Everyone knows the stories of the Jungle Book and Tarzan, boys brought up by wild animals. But what if you turn the tables and bring a baby wild animal home to raise it like a human?
Throughout history, there's been a lot of cases where children are separated from their families and raised by wolves or bears or other kinds of animals.
Records of feral child studies get the wheels turning of psychologist Winthrop Kellogg. He starts to think, what if the situation was reversed? Could you compel an animal to behave as a human were it raised exclusively in a human atmosphere?
So Kellogg brings home a 7-month-old chimp named Gua to raise alongside his 10-month-old son, Donald.
They get the exact same behavior and treatment, feeding them the same way, diapers the same way, playing with them the same way, having them be playmates. The Kellogg's are treating their 2 children identically.
And how are these unusual siblings measuring up?
Gua masters a lot of human traits like walking on 2 legs, wearing shoes, sitting in a high chair, and eating with a spoon. She begins to understand and respond to commands like show me your nose, give Donald a hug.
After 9 months, Gua has excelled at some things, but she's not made any progress with language. She's not speaking English. She can understand things, but she is not moving forward.
But Gua isn't the only one stuck.
Donald is also slow to speak. In fact, in some cases, Donald starts taking on the chimp's behaviors. For example, when yelling for food or wanting for food, Donald joins Gua in pant-hooting and barking.
So this experiment to elevate a chimpanzee to human status is actually degrading his son's learning capabilities down to chimpanzee status.
The Kellogg's are concerned as Donald keeps falling behind. They decide to end the experiment and to return Gua to a primate center to be back with their group and to allow Donald to move forward as a normal human child.
I guess the old adage is true, monkey see, monkey do, which is the notion behind a noted psychologist's idea to test out theories on childhood aggression.
It's the early 1960s at Stanford University, and there is a social psychologist named Albert Bandura who believes the way children learn is by observing the adults around them. So he designs an experiment to test his theory and see if it holds water.
He and his assistants fill one nursery classroom with more aggressive toys, darts and mallets, another one with less aggressive things like crayons and paper and paints. And of course, there is the Bobo doll.
A Bobo doll is this big blow-up doll with a clown face on it. It's weighted at the bottom, so you can punch it, and it'll kind of fall to the ground and then bounce back up.
The children are then brought in one at a time to watch adults play with the different toys.
So there's one group of kids that witness an adult aggressively beating the Bobo doll.
For the second group, an adult will come in and play with the non-aggressive toys while essentially ignoring the Bobo doll at the front of the room.
Then the adults leave the room as researchers sit behind a one-way mirror to see what the children do now.
The children who are subjected to an adult's violence mimic that violence. They beat Bobo using the mallets. They throw him up in the air. They sit on him. They unload on him verbally, saying all kinds of caustic, awful things.
The kids who watch the adult come in and play with the non-aggressive toys, they mimic that behavior. They are actually less aggressive than even the control group.
Bandura's results are published and cause an international sensation.
This is really unprecedented for the time. It sounds so simple, but no one has been able to show that kids mimic adult behavior, especially when it comes to aggression. So this study becomes a really groundbreaking moment that has implications for the field of psychology moving forward.
The moral? Be careful how you act in front of your kids. But if you think kids can be aggressive, they've got nothing on a couple of German doctors hopped up on experimental drugs.
Surgery in the 1880s is a miserable business. There isn't proper anesthesia yet. Chloroform is being used, but patients frequently die on operating tables, defeating the purpose of the procedure to begin with.
Then in the 1890s, a new discovery shocks the world.
Scientists have discovered that if you inject a special solution into the spinal cord of the lower back, you can numb the extremities from the waist down.
And that special solution? Liquid cocaine. Yes, that cocaine.
On August 8th, 1898, a German surgeon, August Beer, performs the first known spinal tap surgery. He is able to put a man's lower extremities to sleep to perform a foot surgery.
Beer's operation gets him worldwide attention, but there's still a few kinks to work out.
Beer finds there isn't a total blockage of pain or sensation. This can limit the application of the method.
Also, in the aftermath of the surgery, during recovery, patients are reporting massive headaches, and Beer wants to get to the bottom of this as well.
So Beer decides he needs to practice by experimenting on his friend, Dr. August Hildebrandt.
Who better to adequately articulate what is happening to their own body than a fellow doctor? They'll be able to communicate in the exact same language.
Beer injects the 1% cocaine solution into his fellow physician's spinal fluid, and he finds that after about 40 minutes, the subject reports no sensation at all from the waist down.
But August Beer isn't going to take Dr. Hildebrandt's word for it. He has to ensure he is completely numb. First, he snuffs out a lit cigar on Hildebrandt's leg. Nothing. He doesn't feel it. Next, he takes a long needle, plunges it through Hildebrandt's thigh muscle until it hits his femur.
Hildebrandt is watching this happen, but he's numb. He doesn't feel a thing.
And then Beer plucks some of the subject's pubic hairs.
He then takes an iron hammer and chooses to smash the shin of his friend. Still zero reaction.
Does Beer have all the data he needs? He doesn't believe so. So he forcibly grabs, twists, and pulls Dr. Hildebrandt's testicles to no effect. Pretty conclusive.
After the experiment, the men celebrate its success. All seems well, but Hildebrandt does describe, like other patients, severe headaches in the days following.
It would take years for scientists to discover that the reason for these hangovers from cocainization spinal taps is cocaine is toxic.
Eventually, doctors switch to cortisone and other steroid combinations, and the headaches go away.
Today, millions of epidurals are conducted the world over for aid in childbirth and back and leg surgeries, all without smashing metal hammers or testicular twisting.
Note to self, be careful who you trust when numbing agents and iron hammers are involved.